This one guy who's supposed to be bringing more civility, some normalcy to the lives of folks, specifically in Minnesota, one Tom Homan.
And again, it meshes those folks. What are you doing? You really think you're going to stop an ICE and CBP from doing the job? It's a joke. Only people you're hurting is your own community who wants to go and get groceries, pick up the dry cleaning, or go to work, whatever. You're just hindering them. Stop. Stop.
Stop. Do you really think you're going to hinder what ICE agents are going to be doing? Are you really going to hinder what the Border Patrol is doing? You really think that's going to work? Well, it appears that it might be working. Maybe that's why he's telling people with this authoritarian voice, just stop standing up for your rights. What do you think this is? America? Well, damn it, look at what's happening. Morale is plummeting among ICE agents over these long hours, quotas, and public hatred. Let's go ahead and focus in on that public hatred part, because that's what Tom Homan would hope would be stopped happening from folks that get out in the streets, blow their whistles, yell obscenities at these pieces of trash, make sure that everything they do is documented, that there's legal observers, there's people following them to see what they're doing. That's why they're so hell-bent on pushing back on these folks. And as they push back on these folks in these sub-zero temperatures, they're not feeling so good. Matter of fact, there's other folks that are within the agencies, within the Department of Homeland Security, from Border Patrol to ICE, and they're more long-standing folks, and they have a lot to say about the way things are being run. Here's some details. Oscar Hagelsieb spent nearly 25 years as an immigration officer and a special agent. He's proud of his work enforcing federal laws. But watching the chaos unfolding in Minneapolis and the fatal shooting of a U.S. citizen there on Saturday, this is from a few days ago when when Alex Preddy was murdered, Mr. Hagelsieb said he felt anger and despair at how the Trump administration was deploying his former agency. Mr. Hagelsieb didn't really like how things are going down, how Donald Trump is, taken over Department of Homeland Security and used all those agents to do even more rabid things than probably they were doing before. So his comments reflect a growing sense of fear, frustration, and disillusionment among some current and former immigration officials at the department, which is leading Trump's push to arrest and deport millions of people. So in these interviews with the New York Times, more than 20 of these folks expressed anxieties that the administration was sending federal agents into situations in Minneapolis and other major cities that were increasingly dangerous for both them and civilians that they encountered. They said that the long hours, arrest quotas, and public vitriol were taking a significant toll on their morale. I always heard about, how Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, and all these folks like to say that morale was down, specifically with the military, because anytime a Democrat is in any kind of way in charge, morale just must be down. They just make it up and say that they get all happy as soon as Republicans are around. Well, I guess when it comes to these ICE agents that are sent into cities to then go fight and terrorize communities, all of them aren't really happy, even though they do enjoy, the skull crushing part about it. Here's more from Hagelsieb. He says, "I'm Hispanic. I look Hispanic. I'd be highly upset if someone came and asked me if I was illegal because I'm Hispanic." Well, way to speak up, Mr. Hagelsieb. It seems like it's a standard thing when folks who don't want to be profiled and asked for their papers because of what they look like, where they're standing, where they happen to be working, what their accent is, their skin tone. It's weird that when it comes to if that happened to them, he wants no part of it. This is where I got a couple chuckles, because it gets even worse than that. Not just Mr. Hagelsieb's problem with it, but ICE agents are saying that they never even got their $50,000 bonus or their health benefits. You mean the health benefits that this administration has always said that they're going to deny to a bunch of other folks, that, American people who pay all these taxes and they take our money and spend it on things like, DHS, ICE officials, and Border Patrol agents coming and terrorizing American cities? It's weird. They take our money, deny us the health care that we demand, that we deserve, that we pay our tax dollars for, that should go to the betterment of this citizenry. And it's supposed to go to these idiot ICE agents that signed up and said, "Do I get my $50,000? The old Superman from the 90s said that I get it." Well, apparently they trusted Donald Trump, just like everyone else that trusts Donald Trump gets screwed over because he's a con man. It's almost like the guy doesn't care about the people who kiss his ass or go running looking for the $50,000 of fake bonuses that he keeps saying he's going to give to folks. Apparently they have some threads going where these folks are upset and they're giving some examples. Here's one of those examples. "Man, Monday is 4 weeks since I started and I haven't even been paid yet. damn, bro, maybe you should quit. Maybe you should blow the whistle on the things that you're experiencing, what you're seeing in these briefings, and all the illegal activity that you were told to be part of. Not paid to be part of, just told to be part of. Here's more. Been here for about 2 months, still waiting for my health insurance. Is anyone having that issue as well? I chose BCBS Basic. MSS told me they don't know how long it'll take, and I have a sick daughter with no insurance. Boo. Who? There's sick children in ICE custody right now. There's sick children that are in detention centers. There's tons of folks with their parents who are being denied medical care, their normal medications, things that are potentially life-saving for them. But this guy is waiting for his medical insurance that is supposed to kick in and take care of his sick daughter. It's weird how we're supposed to give a damn about them when they're literally attacking the American citizens. Here's more from these losers. The headline is, anyone get the bonus yet? I don't expect much. It's like $6,000 though after taxes, and they put it in the regular paycheck. So you end up paying about $4,000 to $5,000 in taxes on one check. It's like they're screwing them over. And then someone else responded, said, I didn't even get paid yet for this base check. And they're thinking about it with the thinking emoji. Maybe they could be thinking a little bit more about how they got themselves in this situation somehow, how they ended up being duped into thinking that this, criminal, lying, con administration is going to do something even for the people, their Gestapo, their foot soldiers that they're putting into the streets to attack American citizens. You guys aren't even paid terrorists. You're broke, unpaid terrorists with no health insurance, just like the rest of the country. Isn't that sad? Maybe you should do something else, like leave, maybe blow the whole system up, maybe stop being a puppet to Donald Trump's hate and disdain for this country. But you know what? As soon as I saw that thing, they said $50,000 bonus, $50,000 bonus. There's this one guy who has marbles in his mouth all the time, and there's something he had to do with a $50,000. It wasn't a bonus; it was a bribe. Do you think he got paid when they did it?
They said that you took $50,000 in cash in a bag from an undercover FBI agent to help them win government contracts in Trump's second term. The DOJ said they concluded there was no criminal wrongdoing, but nevertheless, that story is out there, and I imagine you want to respond to that.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I did nothing criminal. I did nothing illegal. And there's hit piece after hit piece after hit piece. And I'm glad the FBI and DOJ came out and said, said that nothing illegal happened and nothing, no criminal activity. You're talking about a guy who spent 34 years enforcing the law. I mean, I left a very successful business that I ran to come back and work for a government again. I'm back on a government paycheck. Not only did I sacrifice my family sacrifices. So after all the sacrifices, after serving my nation for all these years, they want to come on and dirty me up. And it's not going to end. There's a hit piece on me every 2 weeks. But keep coming, because you know what? Tom Homan isn't going anywhere. Tom Homan isn't shutting up. And Tom Homan's going to keep doing what he's doing, because working with President Trump's the greatest honor of my life.
He got his $50,000. That's why he's on TV with Laura Ingraham talking about how we're going to come every day. And when he says we, he means these unpaid, uninsured ICE agents, these Nazis that they have in the streets that are supposed to be paid to carry out all of their terrorist activities, but they're not being paid. I mean, at least some of them, because I did see one say he's upset that he's going to get his taxes eaten up, his little bonus. I mean, if you get your little bonus. How many people have to be screwed over by this guy before people understand the next person who trusts him and thinks they're going to, take part in all of his nefarious activities, that he's some kind of reward them for it? We figured, man, all of our money's going to this ICE organization. Look how much more it's being funded, more than any other agency, any other law enforcement agency in the country by far, like way by far. But many of these folks aren't being paid. Where's that money going? That question was directly asked when Scott Bessent was showing up and speaking in front of Congress, testifying in front of Congress. One was asked about all that money that's going, to DHS and all this enforcement. I mean, terrorism.
Do you have any idea how much we're spending on ICE every single day for enforcement?
Again,
The representative, this is the Financial Stability Oversight Commission.
But you're the treasurer. You're the treasurer. You're supposed to follow the money. In response to questions on this side, you're always talking about, well, we follow the money. Well, have you followed the money? How much are they spending every single day in Minnesota and other states where they occupy cities, terrorize communities, and try to break up our country?
Again, President Trump has secured the border. He was elected
Well, then let him stay at the border.
on a mandate.
Well,
And
I disagree with you, and I think you're confused. I think you're confused, but let me ask you about something else.
Okay.
Maybe you'll answer this one.
Scott Bessent is a smug piece of trash. You see the looks on his face every time he gets cornered because he still never answered the question. She asked, how much money is being spent on ICE on a daily basis? It's an embarrassing number, or it's embarrassing for the people who aren't getting paid. And he doesn't want to answer that question. Instead, he talks about how Donald Trump got elected and how he has this mandate to do things like screw over his Gestapo in the streets and also steal our money and then hide it somewhere where no one ever really sees it. Because Scott Bessent is in charge of the Treasury and he doesn't know or doesn't care and doesn't want to reveal all these activities, more illegal activities. Instead, the cover is for people like the new Border Patrol chief. I guess he's replaced Greg Bovino. He's out saying tough guy things because that'll get people to forget that they're not being paid.
You see it in the commissioner's actions. We see it in Todd Lyons' actions every day. And so we're just getting started, right? If you think 2025 was a good year, 2026 says, hold my beer. You guys have a good day.
Loser. That's a loser right there. If you catch him in a fight, he's losing. He's on his back. But instead, in front of a microphone with Kristi Noem, who's cosplaying everywhere she goes, he can say tough things like, hold my beer for 2026. Hey, last I heard, we just started 2026 and all your ICE and Border Patrol agents, they got low morale. They're tired of being cussed out. They're tired of people confronting them. They're tired of people documenting all their illegal activity. And they're tired. They're going to be really tired when the prosecutions actually start. Which leads me to the last few quotes that I want to read from you guys from more Border Patrol, ICE agents, former guys, current guys, people that have been there long enough to be disgusted by how things have gone further to the sideways than what it usually is. On a forum with over 5,000 members claiming to be current and former ICE and CBP officers, users from these forums vent their frustrations and concerns about the agency. It's become the center of public ire. Here's a quote. I'm all for removing illegals, one person says, but snatching dudes off lawnmowers in Cali and leaving the truck and equipment just sitting there? Definitely not working smarter. That's what one of them said. What is he, like a radical lib or something? It's weird. Maybe he was never even hired by this Gestapo. Here's more. On January 19th, 5 days before Alex Preddy was killed, a user started a thread titled, Ready to Resign, Had Enough Stress. Here's a quote from that. I have 2.3 years left for full special category retirement, but I don't know if I'll make it. Tired of this agency. Employees being abused badly. Oh, really? Oh. Mandated TDYs with less than 24 hours notice. TDY, by the way, is shorthand for temporary duty, which involves pulling officers from across the country to cities like Minneapolis for these large-scale operations. It actually requires them to pull people from places. When Donald Trump got upset about the response in Minneapolis and he said, we're going to add 1,000 more agents to this area to make sure that we, attack more American cities. And once they go, they don't like going. Here's more. There's another thread that was titled RHA Mandatory TDY to Minneapolis. Officers there complained about their 30-day assignments to the city for this surge that I just mentioned. Quote, last thing I want is to be forced to work 7 days. This guy's been around since just last December. And that thread began on December 16th. Many posts from the final days of 2025 griped at how the forced deployments are getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. We're so sad. I can't believe that people hate us. I can't believe Donald Trump's not paying us. I can't believe he, screw us over like this. Here's more. That same user also alleged that the arrest reports are also lies in a lot of cases. Lots of false statements at worst, misleading statements at best. Plaintiffs' lawyers going to have a field day with lawsuits after Trump leaves. They're concerned about lawsuits. I think they know they're breaking the law. And there was this weird mousy looking guy who likes to scream in front of microphones and then go on TV and say, "You can do whatever you want. You have total immunity from the White House."
To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties.
Here's the very last quote from all these complaining little sons of bitches. And in other threads, users complained of DHS leadership going after, quote, low-hanging fruit to pump up the numbers of arrests. Here's a quote. "This will absolutely kill any morale that we had, if any. Hey, you know what? Maybe don't pull over a car at 7:30 in the morning in front of a school for an administrative arrest, dimwits." When are you guys going to go ahead and have a revolt? When is there going to be an uprising within DHS agents? When are you guys going to stand up? When are you guys going to finally show that you're real men the way that you thought you were proven to be real men by attacking women, snatching them out of cars and saying, "Get the F out"? Hey, when is your manlyhood that you keep talking about finally going to kick in and you do something different rather than get yanked around by your nose by these little weak, pathetic men in the Golden Tower in Washington, D.C.? When are you going to man up?